1460 WVOX.
Stay tuned now for the Racing for Heroes radio show with host Brett Morash on 1460 WVOX.
Hi, Race for Heroes fans. It's Brett Morash. You guys got it? All right. Hey, Race for Heroes fans. It's Brett Morash. It's Race for Heroes Radio. Today is July 30th, 2021, and we are on 1460 on your AM dial, streaming worldwide on VOX.com, and, of course, on Facebook Live for those of you watching there. We are so excited today, though. We have two awesome guests. But our first guest is Eric Ditty, U.S. Army veteran and just man about town. And he's actually not only on our board of directors, but he's also one of the folks that we've been helping. So, Eric, you on the line?
Yeah, I'm here. Bro.
All right. How's the weather in Pennsylvania?
Oh, it's good today. It was a little bit rainy yesterday, but it's nice today.
It was sporty up here yesterday. So I don't know if you heard, we had sailboat races yesterday, and my son actually came in second overall with the way the points kind of work, although he won 2 of the 4 races. But that's, how racing goes, as you know.
Yeah, I was watching him. I watch him on Facebook all the time.
Yeah, it was awesome. He was pretty excited. It was such high winds that he spent less time in the water than all the other kids. So that means he kind of won. So it was just one of those kind of high blow days. But yeah, so listen, one of the things I want to talk about too with you is maybe we can talk at the end about your apiary, because you're a beekeeper too.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if you know, that is the scariest thing in the world to me, is the collapse of the bees in the world.
Well, actually, yeah. I mean, it's good for the environment, but there's a guy down here that 45 minutes away, and he's an Army veteran.
Mm-hmm.
He's got like 150 hives.
Oh, wow.
And I was talking to some people, and they're interested in beekeeping, and I know that they do that for some therapy. Yeah. Veterans don't fit in one box. You got racing, you got horses, you got bee therapy, you got running, you got all kinds of stuff.
That's right. And I think that's exactly why when, we have guests on the show, a lot of them are organizations that are veteran nonprofits that are doing different types of therapy type stuff. And because not everything floats everyone's boat, I mean, as you know, at Racing for Heroes, it's about racing, it's about working on the car, it's about the teamwork. But, sitting for me, working on the engine of my sailboat or sailing my boat, with the engine off is just kind of cathartic. And, for you, it's beekeeping.
Yeah. And it's, I'm in the scooter, so usually I don't mess with the bees, but I have veterans come, and it's pretty neat because, we don't wear suits. I mean, I have suits there, but of course, that guys get together, like, we're not wearing suits, but you hit them with that smoke. Yeah. They don't want no part. they start eating honey. They don't care.
Yeah. That's amazing.
But I mean, when they're flying around, when you have like tens of thousands of bees flying around you, that's not like, that's out of your comfort zone.
Oh, for sure. I just, like I said, I'm always in amazement when I watch the type of work that happens with an apiary and, how much that does. How many hives do you have? You it looks like a few boxes.
I have 4 hives, and another guy had 8 hives, and he had them like in a residential area.
Yeah.
And a bear got in there and tore them apart.
Oh, man.
So they weren't happy. So I'm like, look, I got 24 acres on top of the mountain. I don't have no neighbors.
Well, I can hear the birds in the background, Eric.
What's that?
I can hear the birds tweeting in the background where you are.
Oh, yeah. There's, actually, when I sit by the hives, I see deer, bear, turkeys, just like, and there's nothing around there, you see my house, that's it.
Well, I like your night cameras when I watch your night cameras and you can see like the deer and stuff running around and bears and stuff. So it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
But Eric,
it's pretty neat.
Let's shift gears here. So you were in the Army, and then you also were a corrections officer too. But let's talk about the Army first. What'd you do in the Army?
I was a heavy wheeled vehicle mechanic.
Now, what did you get to work on? Like 5-ton trucks, anything with wheels?
It was usually bigger than that.
Oh wow, like a Hemet?
Yeah, like a Hemet or a PLS, or that's usually what I worked on. But I was in the field artillery unit. And
gotcha.
Of course, when you go in there, they're like a mechanic's mechanic.
Yeah.
And I remember the first time they're like, "Hey, go out and work on this gun." And I'm walking around the motor pool with my toolbox because I didn't even know what a howitzer was. I'd never seen an artillery thing. I'm looking for a gun. I'm thinking, what the hell? There's a tank. So the one
Right.
tag of the howitzer. I'm like, there's a tank, but then I figured it out.
Yeah, but was it like a towed howitzer type of thing, or was it one of the?
No, it's self-propelled. Self-propelled.
Oh, so it's like an
M109.
M10. Yeah, it's like an M109 Paladin or something like that.
Yeah. And I thought it was a tank. I didn't know what it was.
It's tank-like. It's tank-like. Actually,
Yeah.
I saw one on the highway the other day. They were hauling it on a transporter, and even Henry was sitting next to me, and he's like, "Dad, what is it?" I'm like, "That's a howitzer." I'm like, he's like, "Oh my gosh, that's really big." I'm like, "You betcha it is." So
Yeah, them things they're loud too.
yeah, because we were out because we went to the races out at Lucas Oil Speedway in Missouri not too long ago, and we went out to Fort Leonard Wood. So it was like near Fort Leonard Wood is where they were towing this thing around. So I'm assuming it was some related to that. That's a big, huge base too. That's like nut size. But now you were stationed in Germany, right? And how did you like? That was pretty amazing, right? I mean, like the world.
I love Germany. I mean, it's so close. You get on a train. Their train system was amazing.
Oh,
but
yeah.
You'd be in a different country in like half hour.
Well, listen, I think that people don't realize that when it comes to like the Navy, I think the upside of the Navy is that you get to go visit all these different places.
Oh yeah, you guys go everywhere.
Right, but we're not there all the time. But I think like in the Army, if obviously if you're stuck in Iraq for a year, that's not awesome. But if you're in Germany for like 3-year stint, like that's a good deal.
I think I was there for 2 years, and I think probably over a year I spent in the field.
Oh man.
I was like 18, 19 years old. So most of the time I was in the field. So I come back and I have a bunch of money.
Yeah.
We jump on the train and end up being in like Paris. And of course I was young. So a few times, I wake up in the morning and I'd be like, what country am I in?
And stories we can't say on the radio. So
yeah. That's for another time.
All right. So, but after the Army, you became a corrections officer, and our morning show host here at WVOX actually is a retired corrections officer himself. So he was a little shout out to Dennis for being a corrections officer, because I know that's probably one of the most unsung hero jobs out there.
Actually, I just spent 2 years at SCI Rockview State Prison in Pennsylvania.
Oh wow!
Then I transferred to Queehana Boot Camp where I was a drill instructor.
Oh wow!
And actually, I went to drill sergeant school out in Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, when I had that job.
That's amazing. But what was that like? I mean, was it like kids that were kind of off the path, and then you try to bring them back? Is that what that was about?
It was all 1835. But I mean, it was good because you were putting a positive change in someone's life.
Yeah.
Of course, you're as a drill instructor, so they didn't like me at first at all.
Right. But you probably changed some people's lives, and I think they probably look back on you like, there was this guy. I used to hate that guy, but I appreciate him now.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, because I have MS, and I had MS the whole time
I
worked there, I didn't know it. I started up there at 2001.
Yeah.
2008, I got diagnosed, and I retired in 2011.
Amazing.
But I mean, it is what it is. I didn't know.
No, but you've been living with that for so long now, and I obviously the progression in your case has taken as long as it is, but I think there's some hope there. I thought we'd have an opportunity to talk about the stem cell program that is a Racing for Heroes program, that we're always looking for support for. But you're a person I consider the ultimate success. Someone who has had success with the stem cell therapy. I think coupled with what you're having from traditional medicine.
Well, actually, I stopped. The only thing I take now, as far as medicine, is every 6 months I get an infusion. I stopped taking all my other medicine.
Yeah, and
because it was too hard on my liver and my kidneys. So.
Oh yeah. So how are you now though? Like I saw you the other day. You were taking some steps again.
Yeah, I was, and I'll tell you what. With the issue I have is, and it's not a bad issue, is I got the stem cell through Racing for Heroes to help me out, and I couldn't feel my legs before. Probably mid-thigh down.
Yeah.
And I never even thought about it until I went to the doctor, and they're like having me close my eyes, and they're sticking me with this little toothpick thing, and they want mid-thigh, and they're like, I'm like, oh, I feel that. Like, you didn't feel nothing else? I'm like, no. And I had little red dots from my foot all the way up on both legs.
Yeah.
So I was almost like, I had no feeling in my legs whatsoever. But the human body adapts.
Right. That's amazing.
So now I have feeling in my legs. So now I almost have to learn how to walk again.
Yeah. Well, I saw you taking some steps next to the scooter, which I just thought was amazing. And who knows? I mean, if this kind of keeps going that direction, where you'll be in a year or 2 years time.
I think if I build up my muscle mass back, I think I'll be a lot better off.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Well, you got a lot of upper body strength, though. In fact, I'm going to preempt this with, we have Cheryl Herrick on a little after you, and she refers to you as a chick magnet. Her words, not mine. So.
Yeah, no, I'm far from a chick magnet. I think women just feel sorry for me.
No, I don't know about that. Not in Cheryl's version of the story, my friend.
Oh, well, she's a good person, but sometimes she tells stories.
She's probably listening right now. I don't know if I don't think she's called in quite yet. I think she's calling in about a minute. But no, that's amazing, Eric. And so let's go down that pathway though. Anything else that you think that Race for Heroes is like, I guess, done for you that you think has been particularly fantastic?
Well, what I like is, I mean, especially like Facebook, but there's people like a lot younger than me and you, because we're about the same age.
Yeah.
We're old. And like Matt and Ian, they both have kids. And watching those people, watching those families evolve, grow, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and listen, when Ian Ogden and I'm assuming you're talking about Matt Dotson, they're just like super awesome people, and I think that when we kind of look back on it, you have just the camaraderie that kind of comes with the Racing for Heroes, and it filters down to the families too, and I think that you have the families involved. As you know, I brought my kids down.
Yeah.
And Henry still talks about you, by the way, too. So it's something about grilling.
Good guy, good kid, good young man. Tell him I said hi.
Yeah, will do. And Eric, before I let you go, though, like I said, I know that Cheryl's on the phone now. So any words of advice for Cheryl besides pointing out that you're a chick magnet?
Well, tell her I appreciate everything she does, and they do a really good thing. That Ponytail Racing thing. That's awesome.
Well, we're going to talk about that here in about 30 seconds. So, Eric, listen, thanks again, man. And hopefully next time I come down to RFH, I'm going to try to take a little detour and come out and see you first on the way down.
All right, or I'll just come down. We can hang out down there.
That works too, because I think it's a lot closer for you to the headquarters than me. So,
yeah.
All right, brother.
All right,
talk to you soon. Listen, be safe and keep them bees going, man. Like that's going to save the world.
I will. I try not to get stung. They haven't stung me for a while, so I'm good.
All right. See you, Eric.
Later, brother.
All right. Cheryl, that's quite the introduction for you. So Ponytail Racing and Cheryl Herrick, welcome aboard.
Hi, how are you? Thanks for having me.
Oh, we're so excited to have you. And I did tell Eric that you had called him a chick magnet. And he said that you like telling stories. I'm like, I don't know, man.
I was at the races with him and the Racing for Heroes team.
Yeah.
So I'm not telling stories. he as you know, he's a lovely person, and so he's just smiley and happy, and it draws people in.
He is, and listen, I've been married a very long time, and I'm very secure with my sexuality. But Eric is a good-looking man, so I just want to throw that out there. That if I had. If I was like, who's a good looking guy, it's Eric Ditty. So, that's how I kind of always think of it too. And, he's just had an amazing recovery. And I think that, I think the world of him. But let's talk about you, Cheryl. You're helping veterans out here with Ponytail Racing and the Sparkjoy Foundation. So tell us a little bit about, both of that.
Sure. So the Sparkjoy Foundation, they're a private foundation. They are friends of mine, and we were just having a conversation one day about this kind of crazy idea I had. This is before I knew about Racing for Heroes. And so I was just telling them about this crazy idea that I had to, give back to veterans, because I had participated in a fundraiser and given a lot of people rides and saw the reaction that the military personnel had.
Yeah.
And it was actually a Vietnam veteran that put everything upside down for me, because after he rode with me out on the autocross, we pulled back because we've been sitting in the car talking, waiting,
Sure.
you know, in the grid and talking and laughing. And there was 4 of us in the car, and I was racing a 65 Nova station wagon in that particular run.
Oh, wow.
And so
I didn't even know they did a Nova
we had,
station wagon.
so we were going by the carload.
Yeah, right. Well, did you wait? If it's a 65, it probably didn't have seatbelts in the back. Did you like do the Coke bottles with them and kind of shake the car around so they were sliding back and forth?
Oh, this was very much a sleeper. It was fully race prep. Race prep.
Okay.
Yeah, had harnesses and the whole bit.
Mike, I had to explain to my kids what Coke bottling was in the back seat of the car when I was like a kid with the big huge back seat. So they were not
Sliding
impressed.
Around. Yeah.
No, like because in their head they're like, well, what about the seatbelts? I'm like, there was no seatbelts. Like, you know. My dad.
No, we did. We actually did. But after we went out and took the run, we came back into the pits,
Sure.
and he looked at me and he just said, he said, in 30 seconds, you just changed my life. I have not felt this way since I came back from the war.
That's stunning.
And he was crying. I was crying. It was a whole thing. But because of that experience with him and that experience repeating across the course of several weekends, when I was doing these fundraisers, it planted a seed that I was never able to let go of. And so when I told the Spark Joys I was going to do one event, I was just going to start out with one because I figured I could manage one.
Yeah.
And I was just and Mary, the wife, it's Keith and Mary the wife, and I were just talking on the phone, and she's like, well, what are you up to? And I had a broken wrist, and so I was trying, so I started putting the program together because I couldn't do anything but sit and keep my hand elevated. And so one of my other friends was in town, and so she and I were talking, and I talked to Mary on the phone, not just as my friend, not intending for them to get involved in any kind of way, just talking as friends. And so she goes, this is really interesting. And then a week later, she calls me back and she says, we're going to fund your program.
Oh, wow.
That was in like April. And by the time June came, they said, we're going to fund your first full year.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah, they're amazing, amazing people because they also want to give back to people. And all of us, our focus is really on, folks with PTSD. And we know that there's a lot of therapeutic things that are there for them. And that's way above our pay grade. And we always just say, we are all about the fun. So we're just trying to come into an experience with the military service members and their family, because we're big on family.
Yeah.
All the men in my family have served in one branch or another. My dad was in the Marine Corps, my brother is in the Navy, and in some way this is a love note to them.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good way to think of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And look, I think what I do like about that is that everyone in this country has some connection to the military, whether it be through their own service or the service of family members or dear friends. And I think that's where, when I say the veteran community, I don't just mean the veterans themselves. I mean like the veterans and their kind of extended family, which obviously you are as well. So like that's why I think what you do is just amazing.
Well, and I did not expect this. There's a lot of things I did not expect from doing these programs. I did not expect to have crying spouses on my hands, like crying in a good way. I was ill prepared for that.
Yeah.
Because the things that they tell us, like they haven't been out of the house for more than 30 minutes in 20 years. And they came to this and said they'd stay for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
We've been here for 6 hours. So what if I was going to say one thing to people out there in the world, is that if you're passionate about something, you can actually use it to be of service to somebody. It doesn't only have to be something in a therapeutic sense.
Yep.
We consider this recreational motorsports therapy.
Sure.
So it's a version of something, but we're not trying to be therapists or do any of that stuff. We are trying to create an environment where people can create connections. That's really, really what we want to do. And people can use their passions, whatever their passion is, to give back. And it only takes one person who's willing and get started, and people will fall in with worthy plans. They just will.
Yeah.
And the level of help I've had is incredible.
Yeah.
Family and friends and my daughter, and it's been amazing.
Yeah. And you, when you guys have your track days, you have a number of cars running and folks kind of leaning in to participate.
Yeah, in all those cars, all the cars and drivers, some are active duty, some are veterans, some are, family members, some are just people that support the military in general. And they come on their own dime and they bring their own cars and they pay for all, like they're not being paid to, they're all coming out there and just giving of their time because they love it and want to give back. And a lot of our drivers are like repeats. Like I have emails and Facebook posts right now from people saying, when's the next event?
Well, when is the next event, Cheryl? Wait a second. We're not going to let that go. When is the next event?
Well, we're planning right now. The Spark Joys and I are planning right now. We're making some switch ups. So we're planning it right now.
More to follow.
I did some testing if I could do COVID safe. And we did some small events. So we're planning right now. So people should stay tuned because it's coming.
Gotcha. And if I do want to follow you, where do I go if I'm like a regular person listening to the show today?
So they can go to the website, ponytailracing.com, and there's a mailing list that they can get on. You use it very sparsely. It's just to announce events. We don't use it for anything else, and we don't share it with anybody. And then they can also find me on Facebook at Ponytail Racing LLC or just Cheryl Herrick, my Facebook page, because all my stuff is on my Facebook page or my Instagram, which is also Ponytail Racing.
Well,
just look up Ponytail Racing, you'll find it.
Yeah, right. Well, because there's like where's Cheryl start and Ponytail start, right? Is I think always the question, because you're doing that with such passion and forward leadership.
Well, I just say to people all the time, I'll never be able to give back what our service members have given to us. And there's a lot of prices that have been paid for me to get to go and enjoy my passions. And so if I can use it in some way and some ripple of a pebble in a pond, then that's what we're going to do. And there's a lot of people that collaborate with me that agree with that.
Yeah. But well, as in Race Appears, as we're allies of yours and we believe in your mission as well. So, thank you for that.
Well, right back at you.
All right, Charles. So we are getting close to the end of the show, but so I have a couple kind of like questions for you. What was your favorite track day ever?
Oh my goodness. My favorite track day ever.
Or pick one of your top 10. How's that?
Okay. No, I will tell you, not just racing, just pure racing with nothing else. It was the Sandhills Open Road Challenge.
Oh, wow. What were you driving?
At that time, I was driving a 79 Malibu supercharged, an LS1 with a supercharger on it. So it could haul the mail. That's a real serious car anyway. That's awesome. Yeah, and we also did like a half mile drag.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, the car performed well.
Oh, no, that's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah, no, and I think I love the lines of the Malibu anyway. Like that's just such a great car. Just I can just imagine what that must have been. What are you driving now, by the way? What's your kind of vehicle?
So I have, I basically have two Novas, 267 Novas. One is we're just talking about the build right now. Yeah. It's a 4-door 67 Nova. So it's going to be a party mobile. And it'll be the rental car out at events. So we can bring drivers out that can't get there with a car. We can bring them out and they can give rides and that. Yeah. And I have my 67 Nova. And then my dad and my brother and I worked with somebody to build a wicked fast 63 Nova.
Oh, wow. Okay. Gotcha. In fact, the guy that's on the show after me, he had a Chevy from around that time frame. I keep forgetting what model it is. I'm sure he's listening right now, getting ready to come on after, but I'll talk to him in a bit. All right. And it's kind of last kind of personal question. What was your first car that you got to drive legally when you had a license?
Well, legally is.
Yeah, right. I know who I'm dealing with here, Cheryl. Come on.
I can tell you the first thing I owned was a Nova when I was 16.
Oh, really?
It was a third gen. Yeah, but it was a third gen.
Okay.
So now I'm running with first and second gens, but my very first car was a third gen. Yeah.
Oh, that's fun. That's still a good car though. It's not too bad. But probably
that car was great.
Well, probably didn't have the horsepower of the ones you got now though. So we'll put it that way.
No, it was a little six-banger.
Gotcha.
But it was a tank. It would go everywhere. I grew up in Michigan in the snow, and it would go where everybody else's cars would not go. That car was like a tank. It would plow through everything.
Oh, yeah. No, that is a serious car, though. No, listen, my first car was a 1977 Mercury Cougar with a 351 Windsor engine in it. And that thing was a land yacht. right up until my brother drove it into a lake. So.
Oh, my brother also crashed my first car.
See, brothers, I was at sea at the time too. Like, and I got back before like internet and all that stuff. And I got back to port. I called my parents, like check in. They're like, hey, your Mercury. I'm like, yeah. Like, oh, it's kind of broken in the junkyard. I'm like, oh, that's amazing. So, what are you gonna do?
Oh,
what are you gonna do?
That's a bummer phone call to have.
No, it wasn't even recoverable because like they'd already basically junked it. So like I was like, oh my god, you're killing me. So. Anyway, all right. Well, Cheryl, listen, that's the last few seconds of the show. So thank you for being on. Again, it's ponytailracing.com, I believe, and any parting shots. So thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you for doing the show. Thanks to Racing for Heroes and just our military service members in general.
Great. And we'll post this a little later today and link it up with your page so you can have a copy as well. So thanks again, Cheryl, and have a great day. And for all of you out in Racing for Heroes land, another interesting thing, you may be listening to this in your car right after the show, but ZZ Top is out there. I think that's been like a soundtrack of my life driving. Dusty Hill from ZZ Top, the bassist, died this week. And so normally we leave the show with The Real Doug Lane, but this time we're going to leave it with I'm Bad and I'm Nationwide by ZZ Top. Hit it, guys.